That will ruin your garden in a hurry. Audio. Yeah, that little scale's going. Okay, we're rolling. Oh. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working in the garden today. We've got some vegetable plants to plant and some seeds, and I've got some tips that I think is going to help. Okay, for starters, we've got a break on our second row of onions. There's about a 20-foot gap. We're going to go ahead and get some T-posts put in the ground, a cattle pennel, and get our cucumbers planted. Use this. Keep those poked out of the way. You won't poke anybody in the eye. Okay, the panel is up for the cucumbers. We like to grow our cucumbers vertically. It saves on space. There's nothing wrong with growing them across the ground. We just like to do it vertically. If you're short on space, grow them vertically. It'll save you some. And also the third T-post that we put in right there, we've got 3. The reason for the third T-post is that's about the 8-foot mark. That's a 16-foot panel. Once the cucumbers start latticing themselves up the panel, it becomes a big wind block. So this panel is facing east and west, so it's catching a south breeze all the time. So if you don't secure it well enough, the wind's gonna catch it and knock the whole thing down. And that's going to ruin all the time and effort you put into putting this up and growing your cucumbers. So our next step is I'm going to get the hoe, punch a bunch of holes in the ground, and we're going to get the cucumbers in the ground. So hang in there with me. Something we do before we plant, that morning of, we'll go ahead and soak all of our plants, the potted ones, and same with some of the seeds that helps them germinate. That is what everything looks like when it's good and soaked. All right, well, I got my favorite daughter convinced into helping us plant cucumbers today.
Put it right underneath the panel. There you go. Now put some of the dirt around it.
Get some of the loose dirt, just work it around the plant, all sides. Good job. And just keep sprinkling some of that loose dirt right around everything. Kind of just smooth everything out. Good job, sis. Was that fun?
Yeah.
Okay, next thing we're gonna get planted is okra. This is one of the best things we can grow on a homestead because we can chop it and freeze it, we can can it, pickle it. This stuff lasts a long time. We are going to put an entire row of okra in, and I believe there's about 150 seeds in here. We'll put 2 seeds per hole, and whatever the better plant is, whenever it starts coming up, we will clip the other one and grow this one. Our okra seeds, I don't know if you can tell or not, we soak them in water, normally the night before. That just helps soften the seed and helps it germinate. Some of these seeds are already opening up. I don't know if you can tell on camera or not. That's the way we do it. We grow a lot of okra around here and it works great. So this okra, we'll plant it about 1 inch deep in the soil and about every 18 inches across this whole row. Okay, so the okra's going in. About every 18 inches. Drop 2 seeds in. Cover the hole. And here within about a week or so, there's gonna be okra sprouting up out of the ground. So okra is one of those fantastic foods to keep around. You can chop it, freeze it, can it, pickle it, fry it. You can put it in stews. Great food. All right, guys, the okra's in. That was pretty simple. I went through, down the string line, poked holes about 1 inch deep, every 12 to 18 inches. My daughter followed up, put 2 seeds in each hole, and then my wife followed up her and closed up each hole. Okay, guys, we're ready for the next row. We have 12 tomato plants we're gonna get put in, and then we're gonna start running bell peppers the rest of the way. Okay, and as far as tomato plants go, the way we were always taught was normally these bottom 2 branches or limbs, I don't know what you call them. We will clip both of these off here and here, right up against the stem, and then about where that top one is about where we're gonna bury the tomato plant. We've had good luck doing that in the past. Tomatoes always turn out great. We just bury them a little deeper than I think most people do. Next thing, once we get the tomato plants in, something we'll go ahead and do today is go ahead and get the tomato cages put on, because if you wait too long and these plants start getting bushy or getting a little tall, trying to put them cages around tomato plants can be kind of daunting sometimes, and you can end up breaking other limbs and stuff off. So we'll go ahead, put the cages on, and I've got another little side bonus tip for you of something we use just to help stabilize the plants. Okay, I'm gonna take the hoe and go ahead and dig holes. We'll put them about every 2 foot and however deep it takes for the moist roots up to about that second branch. So I don't know, about that far, 6-8 inches is how deep we'll go with them. Okay, and what I was talking about, you can break them off if you want. We've got these little snippers to use, but just right up against the stem on both sides, just like that. And we're gonna end up planting this plant right up to about here. Okay, and on the plants, again, make sure they're good and moist. It makes them come out of the this a lot better. You can see that root system. Everything's moist, everything's wet. So follow me down here, and I'll show you how we put these things in. So that second branch is right around here. Need to go a little bit deeper. Okay, that's gonna be pretty close. So we're just gonna push all this loose dirt in and around this plant. I do like to try to leave a little bit of a bowl just down around here, just to help kind of retain a little water for when we do water. Okay, one down. Okay, real quick, I just want to show you this also on tomatoes. You see how this branch is down here, just touching the ground? We're gonna go ahead and clip that one off as well. When your leaves and everything touch the soil, it just allows bugs and everything else to infest your plant. A lot of those bugs, like your squash bug and everything, it'll actually lay all its eggs on the bottom side of the leaf. If you can keep all that stuff up off the ground, it tends to help quite a bit. Okay, so we've got 6 full-size tomato plants put in the ground, and we're working on the romaines right now. Teaching my daughter how to get these in. These don't have to go as deep. Let's watch her do it. Okay, yeah, just set it in. Put this about ground level. Bring it up a little, okay? Now push a little dirt down underneath it, just to help support it. Okay, now all your loose dirt, just bring it all around like you did earlier. Okay. You're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Good job, sis. Don't forget back here by your hand. Pull some of that dirt around there. Okay?
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, now next up, we got all the tomatoes in. We are putting a dozen bell pepper plants in. We go ahead and prune the lower branches just because that's going to be close to the dirt line. We don't want no bugs on our plants. Okay, we got my son here, the oldest. He's helping us plant some bell peppers now, so go ahead. And like earlier, we do prune up on these like we do the tomatoes, and we'll plant up on the stem, plant it a little bit deeper. Don't forget your backside. You got see this big hole?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now remember, just lightly press it down around the stem. You almost kind of want to make a little bit of a bowl to help hold some water when you water it. How was that?
Good.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
You gonna be a farmer now?
I don't know.
Okay, girl, you ready to plant some jalapenos?
Yeah.
Just push that dirt easily all the way around it.
Okay.
Good job. You're doing really good.
Thank you.
Good job. Now just smooth it out. Yep. Good job. Press down on it. Perfect. Good job.
You're welcome.
You're a big help.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, we've got pretty much everything planted today. We've got bell peppers, jalapenos, habaneros, okra, tomatoes. But real quick on the tomatoes, you can go pick up these cages like this from your big box store, your ag shops, or anything like that. And they work fine. To me, they're a little flimsy. What we do a lot of times is we make our own. I don't know if you can see that. Tomatoes tend to get pretty big. All this is fencing. We'll take fencing, make it in a big circle, and that stuff is way stouter than any of these that you could buy at the your local farm and ag store. Next step is we're gonna get the cages put around the tomatoes. We'll get them staked down. And a little bonus tip, if you've got old t-shirts, ones that you're gonna throw away, ones that you wouldn't donate or anything like that, cut them up into little strips. That's what we use to tie off our tomatoes quite a bit. We'll have them on these cages. Once the plant starts getting big, we can use the shirts to help train it, tie the limbs kind of where they need to be, or if you've got a stem that's wanting to lean real hard, or yeah, the stem of the tomato, we can use a t-shirt because it's soft and it's not going to hurt anything, and we can pull that plant back and keep it straight. Let's get these installed, then all we'll lack is watering. And with the big box store, I do keep some of these around just because our romaine tomatoes, they don't get as big. That plant doesn't get as big as some of these other ones. A lot of times I'll use these just for the romaines, and then I use the homemade tomato cages for all the big tomatoes. Now, some of these, there's some stores that charge $2 a piece, upwards of, I've seen $7 to $8 a piece for tomato cages, which is insane. This is just old fence material that was destined for the scrapyard. It works perfect. It works better, way better than these tomato cages. You can save yourself some money if you have just some old fence. Make your own tomato cages. That is a homesteader's thing to do. Okay, and on these cages, these homemade ones we got, that bottom side, we just trim that wire off so these will poke in the ground just like the store-bought ones do. Let me show you how to do that, and I'll show you how we stake them. Okay, these tomato cages, we'll just stick them center of the plant up in there. Get a bent wire, that's okay. Just center the plant up in here in the cage. Push that cage down. Now, we'll go ahead and stake these just so the cages don't blow off or anything. You can still use that t-shirt for that. All we're using is some old rebar that was also destined for the scrapyard. Okay, a lot of times we'll do 2 stakes, one on each side, and we'll just take an old t-shirt, tie the stake to it. When the plant gets big enough, we'll start using t-shirts to tie it off. Okay, my daughter is gonna help me get a cage in, and we'll go ahead and get the rest of these run. Okay, sis, we wanna take this cage and we wanna stick it over this plant, and we'll make sure the plant's right in the center, okay? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you pick that cage up?
Yeah.
Good job, now just push down on it. Good job. Okay, now the next step, I'm gonna go ahead and start driving this in, okay?
Okay.
You wanna put a couple hits on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job. Good job. Okay, that's good enough. So we'll tie a t-shirt around here, and that'll help hold this cage from it blowing over. Good job. High five. All right, guys, well, today was actually a blast. Got quite a bit of stuff put in the garden. The kids were out here helping. They enjoyed themselves. The kids were the ones that were actually wanting to learn how to do some gardening, learn how to plant some of the stuff. We've got about an 80-foot row of okra in today, some tomatoes, some peppers, habaneros. It was a lot of fun. It was neat to get done. So here in about 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna go ahead and get the corn planted. A tip with corn, if you don't know, corn pollinates through the wind. It doesn't get pollinated by bees or anything like that. Normally you need multiple rows for the wind to blow the pollen back and forth. The pollen is what's up on the tassels of the corn stalk, and then that will fall down into the silks that's on the corn, and that's what actually pollinates corn. But you have to be very careful with the variety of corn that if you're going to mix and match, you need to be aware of the variety, because some corn does not pollinate, does not cross-pollinate with other corn. So a lot of times it's best to do a single variety. We'll probably end up doing candy corn again this year. It turned out great last year. It was nice and sweet, nice and juicy. It grew awesome. That's just a little tip. If you do plant corn, I know some people don't have very good luck, and then come to find out they only have like 1 row of corn in. You can do 1 row of corn, but you're gonna have to hand pollinate it. And there's plenty of YouTube videos showing you how to hand pollinate corn. But if you are waiting on nature to do it, more than likely you're not gonna produce any corn. So that's why we like to do at least 5 rows of corn. I measured it out already. We're gonna have 5 50-foot rows of corn, of that candy corn. Last year, I messed around with some hand pollinations, not a whole lot, but hand pollination wasn't needed with the amount of rows of corn that I had. But anyways, guys, I enjoyed today. I hope you did too. I hope you learned something. I'm not the best at this. It's something we do. It's something we enjoy doing. Really enjoying that the kids are getting involved with it, and I'm getting to teach them. But if you found any of the information helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Hello, Mr. Bull. Not today? Okay, we'll work on that, buddy.